Would a keen driver ever buy a Lexus? I'm not talking about an LFA, the company's $375,000 carbon fibre sports car. I'm talking four doors, daily driver, mainstream. Well, not quite mainstream. This is the LS 460F Sport, Lexus's take on the sports sedan. It's certainly distinctive, at least from the front, the eye-catching and somewhat controversial spindle grille of Lexus's recent design language giving the car an aggressive maw. The rest is relatively sober, lowered suspension and sexy smoked alloys aside, and the 4.8-litre V8 engine puts out a slightly conservative 360 horsepower in this, the all-wheel drive version. Lexus also offers a 386 horsepower model with rear-wheel drive, both of which get an 8-speed gearbox and air suspension. It's not a cheap executive sedan either. With the F-Sport fettling and a few other extras, the sticker price is pushed to almost $90,000 on the road.
Now it's a Lexus LS series, which means there are plenty of toys. I've got heated leather seats front and rear, and they're ventilated in the front too. And of course they're motorised, just like the motorised heated steering wheel and the motorised wing mirrors and the motorised seat restraints. And they're not the only motors you get in the car. The trunk lid, that's motorised too, as is the rear privacy blind and of course the sunroof. I get a 12.3-inch LCD screen in the dashboard above the, what looks like an analogue clock, which is in fact GPS linked, so you never have to manually set it. And dual zone climate control and a 19-speaker Mark Levinson audio system with Lexus apps and a DVD player. And that has Lexus Inform as well, which at the touch of a button allows you to be put through to a real-life human person named Michael or Julie, and Michael or Julie will tell you directions to exactly where you need to go, whether that be an opera house or a taco stand. And the best thing is they never judge you.
In fact, non-judgmental is a pretty good way to describe this particular LS. Lexus knows that sometimes you want to focus on the road and sometimes you want to waft, and many so-called sports sedans probably err a little too much on the sports side for the average driver.
And that's the thing about the F-Sport, that when you're driving around normally in comfort mode or normal mode or even economy mode, it's a regular Lexus. You know, you have the usual kind of limousine-style comfort that you might expect. But then you turn it over into sport mode or sport plus mode and everything gets that little bit tauter. The suspension gets tighter and the steering gets more responsive and dynamic, and even the throttle response is improved. And you don't get any more power, but what you do get is a car that just feels that little bit more aggressive, that little bit more ready to go. So it's not some BMW M Series or AMG Mercedes Jekyll and Hyde situation where you're driving a car which becomes a beast when you have that badging. Instead, the F-Sport kind of just becomes a more driver-focused machine.
So, if you're expecting a four-door LFA, think again. The F-Sport isn't going to scare Lexus's core audience, and neither is it meant to. Instead, think reliability and long-distance comfort and a little bit of extra perkiness when you're not playing unofficial chauffeur. It's early days for F-Sport, though if we were driving our own LS, it's certainly the model we'd pick. For now, the German brands have the edge in terms of sheer sportiness, but as brand directions go, this is definitely where we want to see Lexus evolving.